Good day everyone. Welcome to the lecture series on power electronics. In this session we shall discuss the analysis of boost converter in continuous current mode. So let us consider this boost converter circuit diagram, and for simplicity I take resistive load. However, you may have battery load also. Any DC load can be considered, but simplicity I have taken R load, that is resistive load. Assumptions that I considered in order to explain the operation of boost converter are: the first one, L is sufficiently large, that is inductance is sufficiently large so that current through it is continuous. The second assumption, C, this capacitance is large so that voltage across it is ripple free. So voltage across capacitance is same as voltage across load. So if V0 is constant, I0 also constant. Third assumption, average value of voltage across inductor is 0, that is volt second balance. Fourth assumption, ampere second balance, that is average value of current through capacitance is equal to 0. Now let me assume that this switch is operated at frequency Fs and with duty ratio D. So then this is going to be turned on for D into Ts, where Ts is switching period. So that is equal to 1 by Fs. So if you know the switching frequency of this particular switch, you can obtain the switching period, that is equal to 1 by Fs. And once you know switching period, you can find out the on period for every cycle, that is equal to duty ratio into Ts, D into Ts. So as long as this is on, this switch is on, voltage across the inductor would be equal to VL. So you can apply KVL. So as long as this switch is on, okay, so you will have this kind of the path for current through the inductance. So current through inductance, choose path through this switch. Applying KVL, you would get voltage across inductance is same as Vs. So because Vs is constant, so during this period current through inductance rise linearly with the slope M1, where M1 is equal to Vs by L during this period. And because Vs is positive, so Vs by L is positive, so it would increase because of the positive slope. There would be rise in the current through inductance linearly with the slope Vs by L. So that is during the on period of the switch. So if the switch is off, so after on period, switch is going to be turned off. If switch is turned off, so this inductor current would choose the path through the diode. So current through inductance, which is same as current through source, that would take this path. Now during this particular period, that is during turn off period of the switch, so off period of the switch, voltage across inductor, you can apply KVL for this conducting loop, and you can see that the voltage across inductance is Vs minus V0. And because V0 is constant according to second assumption, so voltage across inductance is also going to be constant. Vs minus V0 is constant. So however, it is a boost converter. Voltage across inductor, voltage across the capacitor, that is voltage across load, is more than the source voltage. So Vs minus V0 is negative. So during the off period, voltage across inductor is negative and that is constant. So current through inductor falls with a slope, with a negative slope. So that is equal to Vs minus V0 by L. And we also know that the current through capacitance again, so that its average value is 0. And by applying KCL at this particular node, you can see that so this current is, so as long as diode is conducting, so this current is same as diode current minus the load current. What is that period? So that is period when this diode is conducting, that is during the off period. And whenever the switch is on, diode won't conduct, diode current is 0. So simply this current through capacitance is same as minus I0. So let us try to indicate all these waveforms. So I would consider voltage across inductor waveform, current through capacitor waveform, and the current through inductor waveform in order to find out the relation between input and output quantities. Firstly, let us consider voltage across inductor. So during the on period, voltage across inductor is same as Vs, and during off period it is Vs minus V0, which is negative. So this is the voltage waveform for complete cycle, complete switching period. Now same waveform would repeat for remaining cycles also. For simplicity, I have considered only two switching periods. Now anyway, once you know so how waveform would look like for one period, so the same waveform would repeat. So and moreover, I am assuming that my analysis is at steady state. So by the steady state, all voltages, currents are going to reach their steady state values. The operation is at steady state. So now, so a steady state, the average value of current through inductor is going to be constant. So during this particular for this particular continuous current mode operation, so average value is going to be constant. So it would vary between minimum and maximum value. You can see here during the T on period. Okay, during T on, okay, the current through the inductance, which is same as current through source, that would rise with the slope m1. What is m1? That is Vs by L. Similarly, during the off period, current through the inductor, again it falls linearly with the slope m2, where m2 is equal to Vs minus V0 by L. So this way current would rise and fall. So during on period current would rise, and during off period current would fall, because of this volt second balance, average value of voltage across inductor is 0. There won't be any net rise in the current after completion of one period. So whatever the current it is starting during the on period, so I mean, so starting point is, I have taken it as let me take it as I minimum. So this is I minimum. It starts at I minimum during the on period, and it will rise to maximum value, and again during the off period it falls to I min again. So there is a ripple in the current through inductance. You can see this is ripple. So you can see there is a ripple. And what is that? What is that value? That is indicated by delta IL, which is equal to I max minus I min, where I max and I min are maximum and minimum values of current through inductor. So during its operation of the boost converter. And what about the current through capacitance? Current through capacitance, you can see IC is equal to I naught, right? So whenever during the on period of the switch, okay, there is no diode current. So IC applying KCL, you can see that IC is equal to minus I naught. IC is equal to minus I naught. And we assume that the voltage across the load is more or less constant according to second assumption. So current through resistance, which is load current, that is also constant value. So so IC is equal to minus I naught during that period. You can see IC is equal to minus I naught. You can see here. So during the on period. And what about the IC value during off period? That is equal to IL minus I naught. And you can see that IL is falling this way. I naught is constant. IL minus I naught would be parallel to this particular line. So current wave shape. So this way you will have the current through the capacitor IL minus I naught look this way. Okay, and this is a waveform. So this is a waveform of current through capacitance for one complete switching period, and same waveform will repeat for remaining cycles also. Right? And and you can straight away you can see that current through the source is same as current through inductance. So average value of current through inductance is same as average value of current through source. So average value you can find out by using the formula, that is area under the curve for one cycle divided by time period to complete one cycle. So you would get that value is exactly in the middle of this I max and I min for continuous conduction mode. Okay, it is exactly in the middle. You can see, if you see the difference between IS and I min, if you see, this is delta IL by 2. So similarly, this difference between I max and IS, again the mean value, so that is same as delta IL by 2, exactly in the middle. In other words, you can say that IS is equal to I max plus I min by 2. It is mean value of I max and I min. And one more assumption that we have made is, that is average value of current through capacitance is equal to 0. If you find out area under this curve, okay, area under this curve, you will find its value would be 0 for one complete switching period. And of course we are going to use that to derive relation, so between IL and I naught. Let us try to see what is that relation in next slide. Now, so these are the waveforms. Let me take them as it is. Waveform voltage across waveform of voltage across inductor, voltage current through inductor, current through capacitor. Now T on is equal to, that is on period, d into Ts. So d is duty ratio, Ts is switching period, and T off is equal to 1 minus d into Ts. Duty ratio vary between 0 and 1. According to volt second balance, area under voltage across inductor for one complete cycle, for complete switching period, is equal to 0. So what is that? That is this area. So this area plus the area during the off period. So what is this area? That is Vs into T on, that is Vs into dTs. And what is this area? It is Vs minus V naught into 1 minus d into Ts. So that is equal to 0. So if you simplify this equation, you would get relation between input voltage and output voltage. Output voltage is equal to input voltage by 1 minus t. So this is the relation between input voltage and output voltage for the boost converter in continuous current mode operation. So by applying ampere second balance, so we know the area under this current waveform curve, so that is 0. So that is IC dt over this integration of IC dt over this particular cycle 0 to Ts would be 0. So apply that, and if you apply that now, so you can see that so this is, so that E is equal to I naught would be is equal to 1 minus d into IL. Okay, so simplify it further. Okay, simplify it further, you will get that is equal to again, so you will get this kind of relation. Okay, so please do verify. I naught is equal to 1 minus d into IL. So this is relation between the output current and the inductor current. Okay, yeah. So now again, in order to find out relation between input current and output current, so let us use power balance equation. Input voltage into input current, the average values, if you multiply them, that is equal to V naught into I naught. So let you apply that. Let you solve this particular equation, substituting V naught is equal to Vs by 1 minus d. So you get Is is equal to I naught by 1 minus d. So this is the relation between the input current and output current from the power balance equation. Now if you compare the operation of boost converter with AC transformer, you can see Vs by V naught is equal to I naught by Is, that is equal to 1 minus d by 1. So it is, you compare, so this relation between input current and output current, input voltage and output voltage with a transformer action. So transformer, we know V1 by V2 is equal to N1 by N2, right? So V1 is voltage across primary, and V2 is voltage across secondary, and N1 and N2 are the ratio of turns ratio of primary and secondary respectively. So if you compare, so this with the transformer action, you can see, you can find that, so this action of boost converter is equivalent to transformer action with turns ratio 1 minus d by 1. Okay, so 1 minus d by 1, right? So anyway, now the next important parameter that one should know is inductor current ripple. So far we have seen relation between output voltage, input voltage, output current and input current. Now let us see the procedure to find out inductor current ripple. So this is very, very important. Let us try to find out. So in order to find out, let me consider again the graph, the waveform of the inductor current. Now inductor peak to inductor ripple, so that is delta IL is equal to I max minus I min. So that is same as the rise in the current during the on period, or so this height again, it is same as fall in the current during the off period. So what is the rise in the current during the on period? That is M1. So that is slope into this distance. If I want to find out this height, which is same as delta IL, so that is equal to M1 into this distance, which is equal to d into Ts, or value is again that is equal to, so this M2, so this M2, the slope into this distance, so which is equal to 1 minus d into Ts. So let us try to write down that. M1 we know that is equal to Vs by L, and M2 is equal to Vs minus V naught by L. Now delta IL is equal to Vs by L into dTs, right? So M1 into dTs. Or similarly you can find out that delta IL, so which is equal to Vs minus V naught by L into 1 minus d into Ts. So you can use either equation based on availability of the data. Usually input voltage, inductor, duty ratio and frequencies are going to be mentioned. So let you find out this del IL in terms of the input voltage and the switching frequency, duty ratio and inductor. So if you find out that, so we know relation between the switching period and frequency, that is Ts is equal to 1 by F, substitute that. So inductor current ripple is equal to dVs by F into L. Okay, finally you will arrive at this particular formula to calculate inductor current ripple. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, so delta IL is equal to I max minus I min. IL is same as IS, so which is same as 1 minus so d into I'm sorry, so this please do, this is wrong I think, so okay, I will correct it. So I max is equal to IS plus del IL by 2, which is also and I min, so minimum current is so IS minus del IL by 2. So this relation also I have explained in the previous slide. So these are very, very important. So based on data given, you can use any data to calculate. If at all you know D, Vs and F and L, you can use this formula straight away, this formula to calculate delta L. In case if you know I max and I min, directly you can calculate this way. So using this formula. Okay, if you know IS and delta IL, so again you can use this formula to calculate I max and I min. So based on data given and the parameters that are being asked for computation, you can use any of the formula. So now the next important parameter, ripple in the capacitor voltage. So for capacitor we know voltage across capacitor is V naught and its ripple can be obtained using this formula. Okay, so Q is equal to, we know the charge storing capacitor is equal to Q into CV, where C is capacitance value which is constant. And how do you find ripple value? So ripple, so we know this relation. Okay, from this relation you can obtain this relation. So what is this? So this is rise in the charge during the positive current through capacitance or fall in the charge during negative current through capacitor. So that is equal to C into rise in the voltage or fall in the voltage during the charging period or discharging period respectively. Now let us try to find out that. So now we can see from the capacitor current waveform. So during the on period, current through capacitance is negative. So it is going to discharge. It is going to discharge. So what is delta Q? So what is the net discharge? So what is the charge that is discharged during the discharging time? That is equal to, so this I naught, which is constant. In fact, that is constant. So I naught. So I naught into T on, I naught into dTs. So that is the charge. So that is discharged during the discharging time. So this must be equal to charge. There must not be any net charge acquired during one complete switching period by the capacitor. In case if there is any net charge accumulated across this capacitor during one switching period, then so current through capacitor would rise every cycle. So average current must be 0. So average current is 0, then area under this curve would be 0. So what is charge? What is charge? That is, what is the charge that is acquired during charging time? That is area under this curve. Right? That is integration of IC into dt. So that is area under this curve. What is discharge? So discharging what is the charge that is discharged during the discharging time? That is same as area under this curve. So based on your convenience, you can take either. Okay, for my convenience, I take this one. So because it is rectangular, it is easy for me to compute the area under curve. Let me take this. So from that, I will get the charge that is discharged during the discharging time. That is equal to I naught into dTs, and so Ts switching period is equal to 1 by F. Substitute that, it is equal to I naught into d by F. And what is delta V? So we know delta V is equal to C into Vc, C into V. So delta V, that is ripple in the capacitor voltage, which is same as ripple in the output voltage, that is equal to I naught into d by F into C. And what is I naught? I naught is output current. So once you know output current, you can use this formula to compute the ripple in the capacitor voltage. And if somebody asks you to find out what is the duty cycle for maximum ripple in the voltage. So you can, so D is equal to 1. Of course, so this is practically not possible. Okay, practically it is not possible. Okay, so mostly, so this kind of question may not be asked, but still, so according to formula, D is equal to 1. Okay, but practically it is not possible. Now, so one more, some other important parameters that usually we need to focus on: switch current and diode current. So we know switch current is same as inductor current during the on period, right? And similarly, diode current is same as the inductor current during the off period. So remaining period, so switch current and diode currents are going to be 0. So during the on period, switch current is same as IL, and off period it is 0. Diode current during the on period of the switch is 0, and remaining period it is going to be same as inductor current. So let us try to indicate them. So we know this is the inductor current. So during the on period, inductor current is same as the switch current. During the off period, inductor current is switch current is 0. So that is what indicated here. Okay. So similarly, the diode current. So also, so you can obtain this way. So it is during the off period, it is same as the inductor current. Otherwise, it is 0. Right. So that is what shown here. So it is 0 during the on period, and remaining period it is same as, that is during the off period it is same as inductor current. Now, for example, if you want to find out the average switch current, so I'm sorry, it is not source current, it is switch current. So let me make this correction. It is not source, it is switch. Okay. So average switch current, so that is equal to, so 1 by Ts into area under the switch current over one complete cycle, one complete switching period. And how do you get that? So that you can get this way. So that is same as, so this area. Okay. So that is same as this area. Right. So this area and this area both are going to be equal. And what is this area? So instead of computing this area, let me compute this area. If I do that, I would get this value is equal to Is into dTs. Okay, TS are going to be cancelled out. So then the current through the switch, I'm sorry, so please make this correction, it is I switch. So current through switch is same as so D into Is. Similarly, average diode current, again, so area under the curve divided by the time period to complete one switching period. So area under curve over one switching period. Again, so that if you compute, that would be same as this area. Okay, that is same as, so this area. So what is that? That is equal to Is into 1 minus dTs. So substitute that in this particular equation, and you will get its value, that is average diode current value is equal to 1 minus D into Is. Okay, that is this. And directly, so from observation, so you can see ID is equal to IC plus I naught, and average value, if you compute average value, so ID average value is same as I naught average value, because average value of current through capacitance is 0. So average diode current is same as average output current. Okay. So please make these corrections. So there are small corrections that you need to make. So this is switch current. Okay, it is not input current. In fact, input current is same as the inductor current. Okay, so small corrections, please make it. So anyway, while sharing the PPT, I will make these corrections. Now, so let us solve one problem. The question is to find out or determine average and RMS switch currents and diode currents if inductor current is ripple free. So consider inductor current is ripple free as shown in this figure. So that is this way. So during on period, off period, the value of the switch current is same as source current, that is constant, ripple free. Now find out RMS and the average value of switch current and the diode current. So average value of switch current. Okay, average value of switch current. So again here, so it is switch current. Average value of switch current is equal to, so that is, so D into Is. So D into Is. Okay, it is area under curve into 1 by Ts, right? So if you do that for one cycle, you will get again that is equal to D into Is. Similarly, average diode current, you will get that value is equal to Is into 1 minus D. That is IL into 1 minus D. Is and IL both are equal. Okay. So here small I D and small I L So they are corresponding to the instantaneous value of currents, where I use capital I to indicate either average value or RMS value. So now for example here IS, so IS indicate what? That indicate the average value of source current. If I use ISR, so that R indicate the RMS current. So now anyway, so now our interest is to find out RMS switch current, right? RMS switch current. So again, so square this waveform and then take its mean value, apply square root, you will get that value is equal to IS into D, and IS into square root D. Similarly, RMS diode current, you will get that value is equal to IS into square root 1 minus D. So anyway, same thing can be obtained using this concept, this approach also. Now we know current through the inductor is ripple free, so you can replace inductor by a current source with a constant current that is equal to IL. Of course, IL equal to IS. Now, so during the on period, switch current is same as the current source current. So average value and RMS values are so D into IS and IS into square root D respectively. Similarly, during the off period, that is from DTS to TS, the current through source, current source would take this path as shown in the figure. So that is this path. Okay. So now straight away one can find out the diode current and RMS diode current using this formula. So that is 1 minus D into IS and IS into square root 1 minus D. Because during the on period, so fraction of switching period during which current flow through switch is D. Similarly, fraction of the switching period during which current would flow through, inductor current would flow through the diode is 1 minus D, and it is constant. So directly straight away you would get these formulas. You can apply these formulas and you would get the value of the switch and diode average and RMS currents. Okay. So this is about the operation of the boost converter in continuous current mode. So in next lecture we shall discuss the operation of boost converter in discontinuous current mode. Okay. Thank you.